Welcome to my video about how I survive cluster headaches. This video focuses on the psychological impact of the condition and the key things that have helped me. Regularly when I am asked how I am, I reply, I'm fine. The reality of what's hidden underneath that word has come close to ruining my world. The truth is, as much as the physical pain is hidden in this condition, so is the psychological pain. I've been waiting to find the right time to film this video, but the truth is, there's never a right time when you feel right and you look right, and it's just hard to face the outside world sometimes, and that's what this is in reality. I've learned to take the physical pain of cluster headaches. It changes, it adapts, it fights, I fight harder. But the psychological impact is not so easy to live with. I'm not an expert, I can only talk from my own experience. And it's quite hard to separate the physical from the social, and again from the psychological. To me, the psychological impact is clearest in the middle of the night, when it's just me and the thoughts that have been running on a loop in my head for the last probably 10 years. Why me? I can't do this again. It's all my fault. My life's over. I'm losing all my friends. I'm going to ruin my marriage. I think it's a mixture of anxiety and depression. But the scariest thing is that these thoughts are all based and rooted in a version of reality. And the more these things come true, the more you lose your jobs, the more you fight with your partner, the more your friends disappear from your life, the more this wrecks your life, the louder these questions in your head get. The psychological side of cluster headaches is a deep, dark hole, and I've been in it to some extent for the last decade. At the bottom of that hole, the only option left, to my mind, is suicide. They were suitably named suicide headaches for a really long time. And suicide isn't just a name for these headaches for me. It's a reality that I've stared in the face. An option that I've considered. An option that I very nearly acted on. And if it wasn't for the love of some very good people, and somewhere in my head, something telling me that it was worth fighting for them people, even for nothing else, then it could have been the end of my journey with cluster headaches. This video concentrates on how I keep myself from falling further and deeper into that hole. The reality is, like I said, that once you're in it, you're in it. With chronic cluster headaches, if there's no good physical day, there's no good psychological day. The two things are interlinked, intertwined. And I hope that those of you who haven't got cluster headaches never know what this deep, dark hole feels like. And I hope that any one of you that sees somebody falling down that hole reaches out a hand and tries to help. Because you can't get out on your own. Over the years, I've been referred for a number of different types of counselling therapies, and they have helped. I've developed my own toolkit of strategies, mainly from CBT, that help me when times get bad. Not all interventions are helpful. It depends on the type of counsellor, the type of counselling, and a lot of other factors, including where you are. For example, I went to a session with a man who just praised me for how brave I was. I didn't need that, not right there. This is a little vague, but what's happened over the last 10 years is that families have got closer and friends have become like family. I honestly couldn't have done it without them. Every single one of them has made it easier on me. And then there's the one that made this promise in sickness and in health. We'd been together 5 years before chronic cluster headaches took over our lives, and for the past 10 years she's been my rock. Daily Migraine on Instagram describe it perfectly. She made this promise and she's committed to me throughout. Having someone there for you is priceless, but communication is key. In my experience, even suicidal thoughts are easier to deal with once shared with someone else. She is best placed to keep me safe from myself as well. It's not all happy families and best of friends though. On the whole, I've been lucky, but not all relationships survive cluster headaches. I and we have lost friendships and relationships along the way, some of which have broken my heart. But ultimately, it's up to me. I'm the only one who can determine how I get through this and if I get through this. I think a lot of it is about perception. It's easy to see things as all being over and broken, but actually, maybe it's time to start something new. It's all about me. That sounds wrong, but it is. It's all about you. You have to be invested in feeling better. It's not like the physical side of this, where you can just take the pills, do the injections, use the oxygen, and that's what makes you better. When it's psychological, when it's that impact that you're dealing with, you have to deal with it. You can get all the professionals in the world involved, you can have the most supportive friends, the most supportive family, but you have to deal with it because the feelings come from you. Nobody's ever made me feel guilty about being ill that I think of. No one's ever made me feel guilty. I've made me feel guilty a lot. I feel guilty that we have to live the way we do now, that our financial situation's the way it is, that we have to live so far away from my partner's family because everything has to be based around my health needs and where my health is best dealt with. I feel guilty that we haven't got any children yet. I feel guilty that every day my family has to watch me suffer. And then when I'm not in physical pain, this is what they get. They don't deserve it any more than I do. But it's taken me 9 years to be able to say that because I thought I'd done something really, really wrong. I thought I deserved everything that was happening to me. I've sat with a stockpile of injections. I've sat with a stockpile of tablets. I've sat there and contemplated various other ways. Not to end my suffering, but to end other people's suffering. I don't know how they do it, watching me in pain every day, because watching me watch them is hard enough. But I've had to take some time and work through some of those feelings. And as you can see, they've not gone. But there's days now when I'm out in the car with my family or walking somewhere or watching something or doing something and I think, wow, life is pretty good. Life is pretty special. Kids help. I haven't got any yet. We're working on that. But I've got 20 nieces and nephews, or 20 kids that call me Auntie Katie now. And one of them only entered the world last week and he's already made it a better place. Life with cluster headaches isn't just about the pain in your head. It's about the Grand Canyon sized cavernous hole that it leaves in your life. And not only your life, it does get better. There are better days. If I'm honest, today is not one of the better days. But there are better days. And there will be more better days. And there'll be more crappy days. But there'll be more better days. It's all about perspective. And when it's really, really, really crap, know that it gets better.
And when it's really, 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 really good, don't be scared of the fact that it's going to get bad again, because it is going to get bad again. In my experience, my last 9 years of this, it always gets bad again. But then it gets better again. And if you spend your whole life in fear of the next time it gets bad, and when it's bad, worrying about the fact that it will never get better, it always has. Every time. It's always got better. It's always got worse, but it's always got better. And that's the balancing act of living like this. And knowing that when you're doing this, things are okay. But when you're doing this, you need to ask for help. And that is the hardest thing on this earth to do, is to ask for help. But you have to ask for help, because as much as I'm saying it's all about me and it's all about how you deal with it, I don't think you can do it on your own either. You have to be able to reach out to somebody, whether that's a friend, a family member, a partner, a child, a grandparent, an employer, a mental health professional, a GP, neurologist, somebody. You have to be.
Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope it's given you some insight into the psychological impact of cluster headaches, or it's struck a chord with people who have cluster headaches. I'm putting out videos as often as I can to increase awareness of cluster headaches, so please subscribe for more updates. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram with @notjustaheadache. Thank you again.